Hey everybody, give me just 1 second. Because I wanted to make sure, take care of that real fast. This is the weekly healing messages. This is the energy forecast. I like to call this breaking the cage. We are breaking the cage so that we can exercise the matrix from within. This is an incredibly powerful week, y'all. And you only have 1 week of this power that's coming in. And it's very much, the spirit says it's, my spirit guides say with Mercury going retrograde this week, Mercury is coming in to Hulk smash, period. Now, this week is all about, it's always all about this, but it's where are you going to take your willfulness? Your willfulness. Are you going to take it on divine, higher, ascended willfulness? Are you going to take it with instinctive ego willfulness? And this is exactly what we're going to be seeing this week. You have Mercury which went retrograde today. And Mercury always goes retrograde for 3 weeks. Now, here's the key. You have 7 planets in retrograde. Count them. You have Jupiter, Saturn, Mercury, Neptune, Pluto, Chiron, and Pallas. And most people, most astrologers, don't speak of Pallas. Pallas is, I usually call it Pallas, but Pallas is how you pronounce it, I believe. Pallas is Athena, the warrior goddess. She's all about strategic thinking. And she is all about, knowledge. Strategic thinking, knowledge, and then also your instincts and how to creatively bring them forward. Spirit directs me, my guides, to the fact of please pay attention this week to your relationships. That is the key there. Relationships. Relationships are of all kinds. I tell people all the time when I do these videos and when I talk to my clients, a relationship is with your friends, your family, your loved ones, your children, your parents, but they are with your working environment. They are even with your money. When you have no money, you know all about your relationship with that money. So therefore, any and everything you care about, you have a relationship with. Well, these relationships are definitely going to be in your eyes and in your face this week. Because when I look into the astrology and I connect it to all of, hi everybody, I do see you all saying hi, but if I keep going and paying attention, I'll lose my channeling. So I just keep going. The whole point is when we get into the astrology for this week, and I start matching it against the actual body parts, and I get matching it into the fixed stars, it is coming in with energies on the kidneys, energies on the fibula, energies of the eyesight, and energies of the throat. And this is going to be all over the board. And when I say all over the board, I am speaking about your third eye. Your third eye, let me break this down for you in a little bit more of a better term. The third eye is not just the spiritual connection. It is the connection to the higher willfulness of a higher divine energy. When you are tapped in and tuned on to the third eye or the forehead, because technically they are 2 separate chakras, and we will be learning about this soon because I've recently created and I have it copyright and it's about to come out on the next new moon. What I have created is this thing called Starlight Codes, and it will revolutionize how we look at spiritual health care. Literally, spiritual health care. How are we going to bring that unconsciousness into consciousness and help heal our bodies? I have created it and I'm going to be bringing it forward at the new moon on October 6th. But I want to say, when we are getting into this, like I said, the third eye and the forehead are actually separate chakras. And this is speaking to us with our actual eyesight right now. You are going to be seeing it. There's no way for you to avoid seeing it. It's coming into the eyesight. And then if you are having problems with blocked energies, you are going to also be feeling them within the eyesight, within the throat chakra, within the sacral and sexual chakra, as well as a chakra that nobody ever really talks about. And it is called Talatala. I always want to say it wrong. Talatala is actually the lower legs from beneath the knee and between the knee and the foot. And it is a chakra that most people do not talk about. Let me get back to you. The throat chakra, let me get back to where I was going. The throat chakra is not just about hearing and speaking. No, my darlings. The throat chakra is about knowledge. And are you willing to hear the knowledge that is being said to you, as well as are you willing to speak the knowledge that needs to be spoken and give that information forward? So it is a two-way street. The sacral chakra is not just about sex. Like I said, the sexual chakra and the sacral chakra are actually individual chakras. The mainstream has fucked this up for a long time. The mainstream has marinated chakras that do not belong together, and it is no longer suffice for us to fake that shit. It is time for us to truly start getting this right. And this is why I'm bringing this while I am doing this energy forecast. The sacral chakra is actually the divine vault. It is the vault of life and of lives. And this is also why you have people returning to you with all of these retrogrades. It is asking you about the lessons that you have learned, or are you playing part in the lesson for someone else? It goes both ways. The sexual chakra is actually one of the gateways to life itself. And we are going to be tapped in and tuned on with that coming through the kidney energies right now. So don't be surprised if you're having lower back problems. Don't be surprised if you're feeling throat problems or bronchitis or just congestion in this area, because this is those chakras trying to clean up and work that stuff out. And then there is Talatala. Talatala, like I said, most people do not speak about, but Talatala is actually a lower consciousness chakra. It is of the lower vibrations, and it is important for us to start paying attention to these chakras, because you can go all day long from your root chakra to your crown trying to clean up those energies and trying to have higher ascension. But if you do not actually start from the true root, which is your feet, and work your way up to the top, you're doing it all for nothing, because you aren't clearing out the vibrational ego of those lower consciousnessless. It's the lower vibrational energies, long story short. And Talatala speaks to us of prolonged confusion. And when people are stuck in prolonged confusion, for one, they don't make action. They don't take action. And this is one of these energies that we're seeing right now with these 7 planets in retrograde. Because you have to remember, on a spiritual level, most people like to avoid and ignore this. But the truth is, when you don't take action, when you don't do something, when you avoid something, because you can't make a decision because you're confused, you ultimately already made the decision. Talatala speaks of that prolonged confusion. And what happens with that prolonged confusion? It turns into push and shove energy. It turns into pushing around for your own pursuit. It turns into instinctive ego, willfulness. That's manipulation. That's manipulation. That is when you are arrogantly trying to get forward by not allowing others to have their part. You're just trying to push your way. This is very materialistic and full of greed energy. We are asking ourselves if we are seeing where in our own lives we are facing these energies, so that we can come into a higher willfulness, come all the way back to that third eye and that higher ascension of divine willfulness and instinctiveness, one spectrum to the other. And the reason I'm giving it to you that way is because what Spirit gives me, Spirit is just all over this week. My guides are with giving me superhero information. Because what they give me is the phantom zone from Seriously, it's not from Supernatural. The Phantom Zone was from Superman. And Superman, the Phantom Zone, was like the jail for them. But what it really is, it's a parallel dimension. It's the jail of the parallel dimension. And this is important here because in the astrology, there is a phantom zone. And it's asking you, are you stuck in that phantom zone? Are you actually spiritually evolving, maturing, growing, and moving forward? And this energy of Mercury retrograde is like the last hair on the last straw on the camel's back, which is coming in with the Hulk smash energy. But you have on the next new moon in October 6th, you have a new moon in Libra, but you also have Pluto will go direct on that very same day. It comes out of retrograde. And on the 10th, Saturn goes direct. So Pluto and Saturn are at that level of going, I'm smashing you through the wall, and I'm making you get the memo, and I'm making you get it hard and fast. Pluto, I like to say, is like, I will kick the door in. But when Pluto is retrograde, he's not just kicking the door into the apartment. He's kicking the door into the apartment, to the bedroom, to the bathroom. He's kicking the door into everything. And he's on his last week. Pluto is spirit. It's the spirit that is part of the authentic soul that you are, but it's those parts that you're afraid of. It's those parts that you are kind of still in denial of, that are a little scary, because you could come to know your true power. Sorry, I have an incoming call. And they will wait. The whole point is, Pluto is death, decay, and destruction for renewal, rebirth, and regeneration. And right now it's going, I'm giving you the rebirth energy if you listen. And he's kicking down the doors really hard. Saturn is those rules, walls, and boundaries, and the restrictions that we set on our life. And are they set poorly? Do we need to shift those rules, walls, and boundaries? And they're coming in, both of them, Pluto and Saturn, being like, I got no jokes left for you. It is time to hit the ground walking. It's no more time for that prolonged confusion. It's no more time for later. I can do it later. This is hitting you very hard underneath the belt for those of you who have not figured out the direction you want to go. Because in honesty, it's a positive thing. It's trying to help you see the redirected energy that you need to take by putting everything all up in your face. And like I said, the way the planets are moving, so many of them are actually sitting on your eyesight. So this isn't even third eye. This is taking it from spiritual to physical. And we're bringing this forward threefold into power right now. Spirit reminds me, one of the most important things that you could ever understand, whether you're into spirituality, whether you're into healing, whether you're into the manifestation or the higher knowledge or the witchcraft, whatever it is that you want to see it as. There's a saying, I put a spell on you. But the thing that's the trick here is a spell is only as good as its caster or its breaker. There's many factors that go into this. In order to create a spell, like I said, it's only as good as its caster. And the caster may think it is the shit until it comes up to something of energy that may really be more on the level of the shit, which would be the breaker. And what I'm trying to get at, every time my phone goes off like that, that's typically a spirit saying that they agree. What I'm trying to get at is there's many factors that go into any spell. Every moment of your life is a spell. You're manifesting your reality. You're creating your reality. But your unconscious mind has more power than your conscious mind. And when we start to realize and bring that unconscious of what it is we're in denial of, what it is we're avoiding, what it is we're not trying to see for the truth. When we start to bring that into conscious reality, then it expands, it grows, and we start to mature, as well as spiritually we evolve. Now, someone can cast out a spell, but it may not be a spell that's worth a damn. If you do not have your balance, your emotional, your mental, your spiritual balance and control, that spell is for crap. And if you don't believe in yourself, that spell is for crap. If you only willy-nilly kind of sorty believe in that stuff, that spell still is for crap. It's when you know from your soul, I know. The only thing that's going to break that then is the divine connection. Because the divine connection will always be stronger than yours, because it's got multiple on the divine than you do. Because we're still learning how to break unconscious energy and come into consciousness and grow on a spiritual level. The spell of your life is only as good as the caster or the breaker. Are you both? Or have you not become either yet? This is a piece for you to speak of, to sit down, cipher, and start to truly realize. Because what I'm trying to get at is that phantom zone, that inner jailing is out there this week. You have those 7 planets that are on retrograde, with Mercury coming through, Hulk smashing the crap out of it for that 1 week, before Pluto starts to let up on, I'm trying to make you get authentic. I'm trying to get you into your power. I'm trying to put you in the right direction before he starts calming back down. And before Saturn starts calming back down with setting the new rules, walls, and boundaries. It's going to be in your eyes this week. Not just your third eye. Literally in the physical world. It's going to be in your eyes this week. It's going to be showing itself. It's going to be asking you, are you listening or speaking? And which one is it that you should be doing? Because the throat chakra is all about knowledge. And then that sacral chakra, the sexual chakra, is all about the divine vault of information. Dig deep, my loves. Because the only spell that can be put on you is the one you allowed. And the sexual chakra reminds us of reproduction, life, death, rebirth. It is the divine gateway of life itself. Like I said, prolonged confusion, instinctive ego, feeling entitled. We are looking at energies that are going to be coming up like this. And it's, are you on your higher path or are you in your ego path? Now let me get into the astrology. First off, the moon is going to be going over Cancer, and then it's going to be going into Leo, and then it's going to be going into Virgo. So for the next day or so, the moon's going to still be in Cancer, where it's going to be wanting to nest and figure out what's right and wrong and nurture the situation. But then when it steps into Leo, great balls of fire, here we go. And that's just the way Leo is. Leo is very compassionate and very loving, but it's to the point and it doesn't take shit. That's the way it is. It's a fixed sign. Then we move into Virgo. And Virgo is, oh, well, let me clean up the mess because I am the anal retentive one. So we're going to be seeing this whole energy building throughout the week as we build it to that new moon to set in Libra for balance and justice. And that's what you're going to be receiving this week, is truly showing you the balance of where it's out of balance and how to create the justice if you're listening to your higher soul. You have a grand trine all week, which is incredibly powerful energy, and it is positive energy. It is definitely giving you opportunities and new ways to go about things if you're using it properly. You have that 7th house of Libra is speaking to the sun and the moon, but listen to me, the sun and the moon will be crossing the fixed stars this week. I never bother to give you the fixed stars names because it's just too much and half the time I pronounce them wrong. But the fixed stars energies are of Saturn, Mercury, and Venus, sitting on top of Mars and the sun. So they just took Mars energy, your inner warrior, your inner SWAT team, which is in Libra, which is not in its most powerful of energy. But the sun, all planets take their orders from the sun. And the sun is saying, Libra, balance, justice, and I want the correct way. And I want to see how to have the correct way, and we're moving forward. We're doing it right now. So it's asking Mars to delegate the truth. And then behind that is being backed up with these fixed stars of Saturn. Well, what are the proper rules to make happen in these relationships? What is the proper communication to make sure that it happens in these relationships? And where's the sensitivity? Venus is not about love. Venus gives you the opportunity to speak in loving ways, to caress the situation. But she also reminds you when you've been betrayed, when you're in denial, and when it hurts. One of the hardest things that you're going to learn in life, before I get into this grand trine, is that regret will always remind you just how much you're still alive to feel it. All right? We are talking about getting over these, not carrying these energies, releasing, surrendering, and letting go. So when we get to the new moon, we have a fresh new start. The sun and Mars in Libra, banging out what has to happen in these relationships in order for them to stay moving forward and to be healthy. It's speaking to the North Node and Lilith in Gemini. The North Node is everything you need to learn in order to move forward. Everything that is up close, personal, and in your face of importance in your life. What you're curious about, what you want to know, and what you do know. But these energies of a Lilith, which is also your inner fire in a form, she asks you, what the hell is this life for? What are you burning for? Are you going to go after what you want? So these two are sitting on top of fixed stars that are also carrying Moon and Venus energy, which is going to be very sensitive. If you are getting hit underneath the belt with things that are uncomfortable, maybe it's because you're not supposed to still be there. Maybe it's because you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing. Or maybe it's because you're afraid of your truth. You're afraid of your power. And these are trines, so these are good energies. But I'm giving you the cold, hard facts. The trine is also speaking to Aquarius. Duh. This is rules, walls, and boundaries of the outer world. Remember, my loves, whenever you have groups and memberships and peers that are in your life, if they support you growing and moving forward, then they support your goals, your dreams, your ambitions. But when they don't have time to support who you are, growing into who you are, it's learning how to experience that on the true depths of soulfulness. And they're not supporting those goals, dreams, and ambitions, then really, truly, they're not friends. They're members that are only using you to get what they need out of you, and then keeping you from actually getting what you want. It's just like they say a lot of times with jobs. Jobs is, you have to do this, you have to do that, you have to do this. You will work these days, you will not work these days, you will do this, you will not. That's society's bullshit. That stuff's all been stuck in your head. This is all about going, no. See, I work for me. And this is asking you, are your relationships working for you? Are they working for you? Because you're being given the tools how to set the proper ones and how to put out the fire on the bad ones. The sun and Mars are also... I don't have water. The sun and Mars are also sitting on the kidneys. So it's illuminating that sacral chakra and that sexual chakra, the vault and the gateway of life. What makes you happy and what doesn't within these relationships? Acknowledge that. The North Node in Lilith is sitting on the bronchial tubes. And Aquarius with Saturn is in the eyesight, the actual eyesight of the physical body. There's no way you're not going to see what you need to see this week unless you're in full-on denial. I love you, but that's the truth. Now, you have incredibly unpredictable energies this week with Libra in that 7th house with Sun and Mars. And it is speaking directly to Uranus. Uranus has a fixed star sitting on it too, as well as it's sitting on the actual vocal cords. So it goes the kidneys, the vocal cords, the bronchial tubes, your eyesight. Libra, the relationships, the sun, the moon, your inner passion, action, aggression, your inner warrior, your inner SWAT team, your inner balance, your inner justice of these relationships, illuminating the truth of them, speaking directly to your independence, your individuality, your uniqueness, your freedom, your self-worth, your self-value, your self-esteem. This is asking you to be liberated. This is asking for dignity. And this is also showing you when it's unpredictable energy, it can go either way. It can be entitlement. It can be aggressive push and shove. When you are in your power, you know you're in your power. And you cannot be moved. But that doesn't mean that you have to push and shove others around to make you feel like you're in your power. That's the lion in the cage versus the lion who rules the jungle. Independence, individuality, uniqueness, freedom, self-worth, self-value, self-esteem. It's asking you, are you seeing it? Are you finding it within these relationships? Is it part of the relationship, or is somebody else trying to push you around and make you the possession? It is asking you exactly that. And what is the comfortability within these relationships? Plus, at the end of the week, the sun is going to send some unpredictable energy to that, sending it off the chain. Neptune also has unpredictable energies, which is in the 12th house, and it is speaking directly with Mercury. Like I said, my spirit guide said Hulk smash. Mercury is in that 7th house also, and it is that communication zone. It is also sitting on the kidneys. It is also sitting with fixed stars that bring both Venus and Mars energy, as well as Jupiter and Saturn. So it is extra sensitive, extra aggressive, extra, because we're talking about Jupiter, and then extra rules, walls, boundaries. Your communication can turn into word vomit very easily this week. This is asking you, do you control your emotions? Or are they in control of you? Because it's speaking to Neptune, which is the 12th house. It is where the lies are kept, where the denial is kept, where the skeletons in the closet is kept. It's the grief, sorrow, shame, blame, and skeletons in the closet, and where we point our fingers because we don't want to point it at others. This energy is very powerful and very positive, unless you're using it wrong. Neptune has the ability to connect to the source of the spirit that is able to create the magic of your life. But it also has the ability to just full on be in denial. Let me just create the same shit because that's all that person will give me. So this comes down to dignity and liberation this week versus being pushed around. One of the two. Are you creating the life you want? The spell is only as good as the caster. If you don't believe in yourself, then you'll be sitting in the phantom zone again. This is time to call all of your energies of your power back to you. Like I said, again, Uranus is in those vocal cords asking you to speak up. The phantom zone, which is being shown to me in astrology, it is not a normal aspect that anybody speaks of. It is what Spirit pointed out, and they showed it moving to me like the phantom zone in the movies and the comics. And this is how I know when I'm seeing the phantom zone. The phantom zone, which is the jail, which is the parallel dimension that is not of your reality because you're stayed in it. Here's exactly where it comes from. Chiron, the wounded healer, which is in retrograde, which means the wounded healer in the first house, where also Eris is, Medusa, who I like to call her, trouble, toil, and strife, and I'm stuck holding on and like a vampire, sinking my teeth into the same trouble, toil, and strife because I'm still pissed off and I'm vindictive. And I won't allow myself to heal because right now I feel better being angry and vindictive. Chiron is the wounded healer. In Aries, a brand new position, a brand new beginning, a brand new start. Chiron in retrograde is asking you, digging deep into your soul, going, where are we not healing? And why? But it's not getting along with Libra. It's not getting along with the Sun and Mars. It doesn't want to see it. I'd rather turn my head and ignore it. That's what that energy is. Healing is not easy. Healing takes hard freaking work. It means you want it. So how much do you want it? How much do you want to grow into a better life? The spell is only as good as the caster. The Phantom Zone, Chiron, Libra. Then it speaks to Scorpio, Venus. The sensitivity, like I said, Venus tells you everything you need to know. It tells you if it's good. It tells you if it's bad. It tells you why it's bad. It tells you why it's good. It tells you how to make it better. It tells you how to keep yourself away from it. If you're listening. I say this all the time. You're cooking in an oven, cooking cookies or something. Who cares? 350 degrees. You stick your hand in that oven and you get it without oven mitts. That is Venus saying that shit hurts. Don't do that no more. Chiron, Aries, Libra, Mars, Venus, not getting along with Scorpio, rebirth, setting the proper rules, walls, and boundaries of the relationships with your sensitivity. This is asking for courage, my loves. And it's not getting along with Pallas. The strategic thinking, the intelligence, and the wisdom. And then it goes right back over to Neptune. All of this is a full phantom zone going like this. So, will you come out of what you've always known? Will you come out of where you've been in your own way? Will you start to come into your power? Or will you let that phantom zone turn over another leaf and start the same damn cycle? Chiron itself also is not getting along with Jupiter. This is what I'm trying to get at. Jupiter is abundance. It is manifestation and abundance. Anything Jupiter touches, it expands on. Well, it's touching Chiron. And it's speaking to it in ways that are very challenging. Asking you, are you ballsy enough? Do you have the courage? Are you the witch that can actually set out that spell? Or are you one that sent it out, but as soon as you sent it out, it raveled and fell apart? Are you able to get true and deep and right with you? Spirit actually just gave me roadkill. Meaning, sorry, I know it's kind of cruel, but I'm being honest. Meaning, are you going to go into the middle of the road and get hit by the car over and over and over and over and over and over and over again? Or are you going to finally pull yourself to the edge of the road where you can actually start to get help? Or are you just going to keep getting smacked down over and over and over again? Are you comfortable with it or not? This is Chiron and Jupiter. The wounded healer starting a new cycle. Can you find the things within yourself that you need to challenge and grow and bring yourself into that liberation, that dignity? And then are you going to bring it forward? Because this is going against that 11th house. There's people taking advantage of you, pushing you around because they want to use you the way they want to use you instead of the way you want to use you. And this is what it all comes down to. Plus you have energies this week that are also not getting along with the Lilith and that North Node in Gemini, that up close and personal communication, which is not getting along with the South Node, which is typical. The North Node and South Node never get along. But the South Node is in Sag going, it'll wait. If I just wait a little longer, it'll get better. It's over the next horizon. There'll be no horizon unless you go up to see it. And then it's not getting along with Pluto. How much more can I kick the door in, make you get up and stop acting like a wounded animal and do what needs to be done in your life? From a spiritual, soulful part with dignity and love. And then it's going back to communication with Mercury. Hulk smash. This can be word vomit all over the place. Mercury in retrograde also asks you to pay attention to your surroundings, because you're paying attention to your inner self. Mercury in retrograde, when Mercury is in retrograde, we all tend to get a little bit more, only pay attention to ourselves, only care about what's going on with ourselves. We're not paying attention to the outer world as much. But this is not the week to get lost in your inner emotions. This is not that week to allow the emotions to drive your life. This is that week of understanding the brain needs to listen to the heart, and the heart needs to communicate with the brain so that you have true balance. Understand, guys, when you start getting all those kinks in your throat and that neck pain and the shoulder pain, that's the supernatural highway between the heart and the head. And it starts hurting because of bitterness and blame that's not being spoken, that's not being said outwardly. But there's a way to say it in forms that are healthy and nice, and letting them know this is how you're feeling instead of just projectile vomiting. Whenever we're in over our head, our grief, sorrow, shame, blame, I coulda, shoulda, woulda, that's when all of those shoulders and the neck pain starts. When you're afraid to speak your truth, you start to get caught up and you start to, not be able to speak. This is about asking you, are you a caster and a breaker? Can you set the spell for your life? Because it's only as powerful as the caster or the breaker. You may need to be the breaker to someone else's casting. I love you guys. See you next week. Bye.